And let's start our today's study of lesson 36 by paying homage to the Buddha. Let's recite Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, today we're going to study lesson 36 about the cognitive process in attainment, part 2. So we have studied in lesson 35 about the cognitive process in the attainment of jhana and cognitive process in the attainment of phala, which is called the phala samapatti. So jhana samapatti with viti, viti is cognitive process. So jhana samapatti, viti, and phala samapatti, viti already studied. And here the only one of samapatti viti, nirodha samapatti viti, we have to study today. And also in order to include the whole meaning of the attainment of jhana, which is called the jhana samapatti viti, we will include the abhinya viti. Abhinya viti. So in the two cognitive process of the sublime jhana, the first time attainment and the process in the attainment, samapatti viti, and adhigamika viti and samapatti viti. So if we study about the process with the sublime jhana, we can roughly classify into two, the adhigamika or samapatti viti. If any attainment in the first time is called the adhigamika viti, and the remaining with the repetition are called the samapatti viti. So abhinya viti, which is called the direct knowledge in English, that is not the first time attainment. After practicing the jhana up to the fifth jhana of the 5 material sphere, being expert in 5 way of mastery, and the person can promote up to the power of direct knowledge, his 5th jhana. That's why that abhinya viti also included in the samapatti viti as a jhana samapatti viti. And then in this lesson, we will discuss 2 types. One is abhinya viti, and the other is nirodha samapatti viti. So let's see. There are 5 types of abhinya. These five types of abhinya is mentioned in chapter 9, the last chapter of Abhidhamma Sangha. They are mentioned about the way of meditation and the object and the process, how the attainment occurs. And so about the meditation are widely explained. So here, this abhinya as a part of the meditative attainment, it is mentioned in the chapter 9 of Kammatthana Sangaha. So I would like to make the easy understanding. So I'm trying to relate the text of the Kammatthana Sangaha into the chapter 4 of the Vitti Sangaha. So by reading the text from the Kammatthana Sangaha, you can completely understand about the process. So let's see, what are the 5 types of direct knowledge? And the first one is called the Adivida Abhinya. Once I have introduced this in the chapter 3. And while we study about the object Aramana Sangaha of chapter 3. And so here, Adivida Abhinya. This is supernormal power to perform the variety of performance. And different way of performance can be performed by the power of Adivida Abhinya, the supernormal power. So the person can display multiple form like a clone of his body. And the power of creating form is mean the newly creating, then appear and vanish at will. So we can see in the Pali text, many times the Brahmas disappear there and then in the Brahma world and appear in front of the Buddha. And also the Buddha disappear somewhere and appear in other place. That is the work of the Adivida Abhinya. And to pass through walls and hindrance, so you can pass through anything. So then to drive in and out of the earth, so the person can sink into the earth, and to walk on water, to travel through the air. So those are traveling in the sky without any vision. So these are the power of the Abhinya. And maybe some without getting any stages of Abhinya, also they can use the other power too. And to touch the stroke, the sun and moon. So here the sun and the moon. And the exercise mastery over the body as far as the Brahma was. So it's to experience others, to make his will according to his will. So these all are Adivida Abhinya, the work of Adivida Abhinya. And we can briefly remember this is the different way of performing by the power. Then the second one is Diva Sota Abhinya, divine ear. This divine ear can hear. It is to listen the sound, but here this is the present sound, whether it is near or far. The space and the vibration or the frequency, it doesn't matter because it is divine ear, the power of divine ear. Even the ear, physical ear of the Deva can hear a very subtle sound where arise in very far distance. A divine ear is more powerful than the physical ear of Deva, but it can hear only the present sound. If it is part, the Deva Sota cannot hear. So here we can understand the sound refers to the present sound. Then prachitta vijanana. Prachitta is others' mind. Vijanana is knowing. So the knowledge of others' mind. By this power, the meditator can read the other's thoughts and can read the mind, how the mental process arising in other person's mind. And then Pope Nivasa Nusati, the recollection of past life. So this for this power also the different qualification can be found according to the different individual. So for the Buddha, he can recollect the past life of himself and also past life of the others, and in the very smart way. So jumping towards somewhere in some distance like this. So specific place and specific time the Buddha can go. But for the others, some can recollect through the process of mentality, following the process of mentality, following the process of the life subsequently. But here the power is to recollect the past life. This is called the Pope Nivasa Nusati Abhinya. And the last one is Diva Chakku Abhinya. That is divine eye. Here the divine eye here emphasized the events. Actually, what exactly mean? The object of Diva Chakku is the present visible form. Present visible form here, the earthly, heavenly or earthly events. So there, although it is said the events, so what we can see, considering what we can see is the visible form. That is why here the power of Abhinya is Diva Chakku, so divine eye. So what it can see is the only visible form, the present visible form. So Deva Sota, present sound, and Deva Chakku, present visible form. It in both cases of the heavenly events and earthly event, it doesn't matter. He can see the visible form in that events. So that is the power of divine eyes. Although we see different events by the Deva Chakku, whatever we can see is the present visible form. And the others related to the Adivida Abhinya. And here, in other place, it is mentioned in different number, different enumeration. So these five Abhinya are mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangaha text itself, and they are one power of Chuttupapata Jnana, the one of the ability, the Buddha and some noble person, they can see the person, the beings, those are near death moment, and the next life, and how related to identify the birth and previous life, the new rebirth and previous life. So that power is called the Chuttupapata Jnana. It is included in the divine eye. So for that reason, according to the identification of the the object of the Deva Chakku, it must be present. So if we are trying to perform the function of the Deva Chakku to know those near death moment and rebirth, so we can enter to the jhana and with a specific resolution about the Deva Chakku related to the Chutupapada jnana. So then we can see as some beings are going to die by specific condition of mentality, and we can understand how it happened. Then after that moment, when he reborn, where he goes, we can see this is the function of Chutupapada jnana. In this case, it seems has the wider objects. Then, as we identify in the chapter 3, is the present visible form. That is why maybe the Abhidhamma say the events. So it as a function of performing the function of Chutupapada jnana, it has the widest things. So to penetrate the mentality of the beings who are going to die, and the mentality of the being, newborn beings, and it show the relationship between the previous life and the new life. So this is the function of the divine eye. It is not a new abhinya. And in other case, the abhinya is plain as 6. So six direct knowledge, cha abhinya. At that time, all the 5 direct knowledge of the mundane level, all Idivida, Deva Chakku, Prajita, Vijnana, Pobe, Nivasa, Nusati, Deva Chakku are all are mundane. So the mundane abhinya, 5 mundane abhinya. So the worldling person can attain all the complete direct knowledge mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha, as mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha. So sometimes it is mentioned abhinya 6 in the Sutta. So at that time, it includes the knowledge of the destruction of the tails. Here, tails is asava. Asava, destruction of the tails means the asavakaya jnana. So the asavakaya jnana refers to the arahata mega jnana. And that is why, and that is supramundane knowledge. So if the Sutta mentioned about the cha abhinya, so there include the 5 mundane abhinya and the last one, the asavakaya jnana, supramundane abhinya. So that is the 6th direct knowledge. Then in other place, it is mentioned more abhinya. That these are Yathakamubhaga abhinya. Yathakamubhaga abhinya, that is the knowledge of existence by respective karma. So this existence is produced by that karma, a specific karma, and they can identify by the Yathakamubhaga jnana. And another is Anagatansa jnana, the knowledge of future and future existence, future world, future events. And those who already practice up to the level of the abhinya, and they can have the power to see the future existence and future events. So, but these 2 functions are not different from the Deva Chakku. That's why when the 5 abhinya are mentioned, it includes all, but except the except the destruction of the tails, asavakya jnana. So these 6 and 7 are not totally new. The scholars consider as the last one of Deva Chaku Abhinya can perform the Chutupapada Jnana, Yathakamubhaka Jnana, very close to the Chutupapada Jnana, and the Anagadansa Jnana. Okay, now we understand the different classification of Abhinya or different enumeration of Abhinya. Sometimes it is mentioned only 5. And sometimes it is mentioned only 6, or sometimes it's mentioned 7 Abhinya. That is the enumeration about the Abhinya. Okay, so before we study about the cognitive process, how it happened in the mental process specifically, and we need to study the text of the Abhidhamma Sangaha, because we are studying the Abhidhamma based on the text of Abhidhamma Sangaha. So today I'm going to relate the text and the understanding. And in many lessons, I'm just trying to explain, to understand and the meaning. But usually I skip to explain the text itself. But actually, in order to remember, in order to understand for a long time, and we need the assistance from the text, and keeping the text in the mind, and then we can keep the keys in our mind. So Abhidhamma Sangaha mentioned the Abhinya Javanani Cha Sabadabi Ikawara Miwa Javandi. This is the Pali text. And it can be translated as the direct knowledge Javana. So Javana, which perform the direct knowledge, always runs only once. And this is the text as mentioned in the Viti Sangaha, chapter 4. Very short, but we can understand how the mental process of Abhinya runs by this key, and in connection with the other texts which mention about the Samapati generally. Then this is the specific text in relation to the direct knowledge. So in this text, we understand only one time runs the direct knowledge, the Javana of direct knowledge. As you know, that according to the nature of Javana, in the sense sphere Javana, they run 6 or 7. When it is very busy, during the time, the Buddha performed the twin miracle. Like in such moment, the Javana runs only 5 times, like this. Usually runs 6 or 7 times. But some Javana, especially sublime Javana, they run in different way. And in the Samapati Viti, in lesson 35, we have studied that many times of Javana runs up to the uncountless times. And the whole days, the Javana, the jhana, absorption Javana, or the fruition Javana, they can run many times. At the beginning, first time attainment of the jhana or mega, only 1 times, like this. So here, the Abhinya Javana, the direct knowledge Javana, always runs only once. This, and in order to have the complete understanding about the process in the direct knowledge, we need to relate the text in the Kammatthana Sangaha, the last chapter. So they mention the Abhinya Paraka, here, the Abhinya Paraka, Panchamit Jhana. So Panchamit Jhana Ottahitawa. So this test explains how the meditator can enter to the can have the abhinya, the power of abhinya, giving rise the specific process in his mind. So here the abhinya paraka mean the basics, the basis of the direct knowledge. That also the panchama jhana. So the fifth jhana as a basis of direct knowledge, and it means he must have already attained the meditative level of attainment up to the fifth jhana. Not every meditator, those who attain the fifth jhana, can perform the abhinya. So only those who specially practice for that direct knowledge can attain. At least the meditator who wants to perform the performance of abhinya and the direct knowledge, he needs to attain and to be mastery of the five jhana, all complete five jhana. So then he entered to the first jhana, second jhana, etc., and then he entered to the fifth jhana. And that fifth jhana can be considered as the abhinya padaka panchamijhana. Abhinya padaka panchamijhana, because that can be a basis for direct knowledge. The direct knowledge is abhinya, a basis is padaka. Then, after that, what he needs to do, the test mentioned that aditya dika mawachitwa. So, secondly, he needs to make the having adverted to the resolution, etc. So, in order to attain the level of the direct knowledge, he needs to make the resolution, etc. Then, prikamankrontasa. So he continued his way of process to abhinya, to the direct knowledge. It means that that's the preliminary work. Preliminary work is making the preparation again. Then rupa disu alambanisu yataraha mapiti. So here apiti, the fifth jhana, fifth immaterial, fifth five material pure jhana. So let's see again what the test says. So at the beginning, he needs to enter to the fifth jhana, which is the basis of direct knowledge. And secondly, after emerge from the fifth jhana, basis fifth jhana, and he need to make the resolution, then preliminary work to finish. After that, again, he entered to the fifth jhana, fifth five material sphere jhana. That jhana occurring by way of direct knowledge. It means that is the abhinya process, the process of the abhinya. So, according to this explanation, firstly, the fifth jhana, entering to the fifth jhana, after that making the preliminary work, including the resolution, etc. After that, again, abhinya. So, three process is mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha text. So, fifth jhana, then here this process of parikamma is to perform the preliminary work of and resolution. That is not other than the process with the sense pure jhana. We already studied sense pure jhana. So for the trainees and wardling person, the wholesome sense pure jhana will run for seven times. And for the arahat, the functional jhana will run, since all are sense pure jhana, great wholesome and great functional. After that, again, there are the absorption, the process with the absorption jhana will arise. to perform the function of direct knowledge. Function of direct knowledge. That is called the Abhidhamma. In the second and absorption jhana here, as it is mentioned, it performs the direct knowledge, the function of direct knowledge. There must be only one time of jhana. So it will clear in the following slide. Okay, here let's see about the process of Abhidhamma. The process of basic jhana, so Pannadhikalankara jhana viti. Then, secondly, the process of preliminary action or parikamma viti, the process will come. Then, thirdly, so this process is not mentioned. It's not mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha text itself, but many of our Abhidhamma scholars mention this. There's also needs for some. So some are very expert and already performed many times and very familiar. This performance is for them, it is not necessary. But for the beginner and for those who are not very expert, the number 3 process also needs. Then the fourth one is the process of direct knowledge, here Abhidhamma. So regarding the process of Abhidhamma, we can understand in this way. So how it happened? So the first one, the process of basic jhana, so Abhidhamma Pannadhikalankara viti. Although it is named as the Abhidhamma Pannadhikalankara viti, it is just the cognitive process of attainment jhana, but this must be the 5th jhana. So the former jhana cannot support to the Abhidhamma, cannot relate to the Abhidhamma directly. That is why only the 5th jhana can be the basis of the Abhidhamma. So Pannadhikalankara jhana refers to the cognitive process of attainment in 5th jhana, with 5th jhana jhana. And it continues many times for some periods. After that, in March, from that Pannadhikalankara jhana, he entered to the process of preliminary action, parikamma viti. That to make the specific preliminary work. For example, for the Deva Chakku, the meditator have to make the resolution. I wish to see the event where happened, or the Deva realms or human realms or like this. So in Europe or in Singapore or in America somewhere, and have to make the specific resolution. And to a divine ear, you need to make specific resolution. I wish to hear the voice from where, the voice of whom, like this. So that to perform that types of resolution and the necessary work for the Abhidhamma, to support the Abhidhamma, he need that process. So although it mentioned only once in the types, but it can be many times, as long as it is enough powerful. So until it enough powerful to give rise to the process of Abhidhamma, so to be the basics. Sometimes if it is not enough, again, you need to enter to the Pannadhikalankara jhana. After that, he make the resolution by the process of preliminary action, parikamma viti, again and again. And when it's powerful, close to the Abhidhamma viti, at that time, for some meditator, it arises the Abhidhamma Pannadhikalankara Panchamit jhana viti again. So this basic jhana process, the second time of basic jhana process after the preliminary action, can be skipped for those who are expert in the performance. Then after that, whether the Paraka jhana arise or not, by the support of the basic jhana and the preliminary action, the process of direct knowledge arise. It is not the different way. So cutting off the process of Abhidhamma and mind dot about them, then preparation, access, conformity, change or lineage, and then jhana. So jhana, this jhana is the fifth jhana. And also here, all the jhana mentioned in this slide refers to the fifth jhana. In the last process, the jhana only once, because it is the abhinya jhana. So it performs the abhinya. It can be wholesome for trainees and wardling, and it can be functional for arhat. Depends on the individual. And this is how the meditator can perform, can make the process of direct knowledge in his mind. So the preparation, all the process are mentioned in this way. Before that, here, although it is mentioned from the basic jhana as a fifth jhana, he needs to enter to the first jhana, second jhana, etc., up to the fifth jhana, and many times practice. So it is not the easy text. Okay, let's see. There are, for more understanding about the abhinya process, this is the process to perform the abhinya. And every direct knowledge can be performed. The power of the direct knowledge can be performed by this process. So the very powerful process. Let's see what types of consciousness are there. And the bhavanga here, the bhavanga can be any of 9. So if the being from the sensual sphere and human realms or deva realms, there are any of the great resort associated with knowledge can run. There are, and 5 material sphere 5, altogether 9. But the question is, what about the immaterial sphere resortants? It cannot, because the immaterial sphere resortant can arise only in the immaterial sphere realms. But here, this abhinya viti cannot arise in the immaterial sphere realms, arupa vachara bhumi. Because in the immaterial sphere realms, there is no process of 5 material sphere. As after the attainment of 5 material sphere after the 5th jhana, and the meditator considering that discussing the materiality and being seeing the discuss of the force of the materiality, he could attain the immaterial state of attainment. That is why at the immaterial realm, there is no the 5 material sphere process. There, the abhinya performance of the direct knowledge is always related to the 5 material sphere. That is why we can understand this abhinya process cannot arise in the immaterial realm of existence. So the bhavanga also cannot be immaterial resortants. Okay. Then The neighborhood concentration, which is called the preparation, asset conformity, and change of lineage, they can be any of the wholesome accompanied by equanimity associated with knowledge. So here, associated with knowledge means without the knowledge, the attainment of jhana cannot be possible, cannot arise. It is impossible. Then what about the equanimity? So here we can identify the jhana which perform the function of abhinya is the fifth jhana. And also all the fifth jhana are related to the feeling of equanimity, accompanied by equanimity. So only two jhana factors of equanimity and one-pointedness. That is why all fifth jhana, as all fifth jhanas are equanimity, the just before the neighborhood concentration jhana are also must be equanimity for their worldly person and trainees, Putujana and Sekha, the wholesome, and for the Arahat, it is functional. In this way, we can identify that all the neighborhood concentration must be any of the wholesome two or functional two. Then, what about the jhana which perform the function of abhinya? It can be wholesome or functional according to the individual. But for the types, that must be the five material sphere fifth jhana. Only the fifth jhana can perform the direct knowledge, the performance of the direct knowledge, abhinya. So the fifth jhana are accompanied by equanimity. Then the wholesome direct knowledge about the objects. So looking back to the third chapter of the Aramana Sangaha, the kusala abhinya. So direct knowledge, it all subject, but not completely off. That except the path and fruit of arahaship. And if you can remember how we classify the object and how we make the relationship between the consciousness and objects, you can identify the object of the wholesome direct knowledge is all the object except the path and fruit of arahaship. But for the functional direct knowledge which arise in the process of the arahat, it can take all kinds of objects, because in the arahat, the Buddha also included in the arahat. So when it arises in the process of the Buddha, it can take every types of the objects. So that's why in this case, as the object of abhinya, we can understand. So this is the way how we need to understand about the direct knowledge abhinya. Okay, let's continue as for the second part of our study here, the Nirodha Samapatti Viti. So Nirodha Samapatti Viti, at the time of the attainment of succession, it is said that the text, firstly, we need to study the text. So, and the text regarding the Nirodha Samapatti described in the chapter 4 and in the chapter 9. So, in the chapter 4, it is mentioned that at the time of the attainment of succession, so Nirodha Samapatti Kali, then Drekhaton Chatutharopa Javana Javati. So the fourth Chatutharopa Javana means the fourth immaterial Javana. Run twice. So Drekhaton refers to the run twice. Here, although it is said that at the time of the attainment of succession, we can understand in proper way, not exactly at the time of the attainment of succession, because The attainment of succession refers to the state where the mentalities cease, mentality stop, not arising. That is why here the text say the fourth immaterial jhana runs twice. The fourth immaterial jhana means a kind of the consciousness. So it says that consciousness runs twice, means not exactly at the time of the succession, attainment of succession. This is one of the way how the Pali text explain. And sometimes we cannot directly take the meaning of the Pali text. Although it is said there are Nirodha Samapattikale in Pali, and in English it is translated as the at the time of the attainment of succession. We have to understand in proper way that at the just before the attainment of succession, so near the moment of the attainment of succession. This is very important. Otherwise, you can misunderstand during the time of the attainment of succession, the immaterial jhana ran. So it is not correct. The correct way is near the moment near the attainment of succession, at that moment. Okay. Then the para nirodha pusati, then contact succession. So in relation to this text, so the para means the 2 times of the fourth immaterial jhana. After 2 times of fourth immaterial jhana, contact the succession. So succession is just after the 2 times of the 2 times of the fourth immaterial jhana. Then, so this is interim moment as mentioned in the chapter 4. Then it continued to explain Uttanagali. Uttanagali means when emergent. So at the time of emergent from the succession. Anagami Phalanwa, Arhata Phalanwa, Yatharaham. Either the fruition consciousness of non-returning, this is Anagami Phalanwa, and or the fruition consciousness of Arahaship, it is Arhata Phalanwa. Arise accordingly. Here accordingly means Yatharaham. It is if we see this word, the Yatharaham in Pali, and accordingly, we have to notice that we need more explanation to have the proper understanding. And here in the chapter 9, the Abhidhamma Sangha text is itself will explain about that. Sometimes it is not explained there. We need to get the assistance of the senior teacher. And here, Yatharaham accordingly, but it will explain in the next slide. Ekawara mewa opichitwa. So Ekawara is for a single occasion, only one time. Okay, so when emerge means they are before the context of succession, before the attainment of succession, 2 times of fourth immaterial the jhana arise. After that, the period of the succession. Then when emerge from the succession, so at that time for the non-returner, the fruition consciousness of non-returning will arise. For the Arhat, the fruition consciousness of Arhat will arise accordingly. And the single occasion, so only one times. By collecting the information described in the Abhidhamma Sangha text, we can understand the whole meaning of the attainment of succession, Nirodha Samapatti. Then, so Nirodha, after the arising, the one time arising of the fruition consciousness, accordingly, then it also seeks. When it seeks, the Bhavanga Padava Hoti, there is subsidence into the life container. So a bhavanga arises. This is the text in the chapter 4 regarding the Nirodha Samapatti Viti. But this tell will be more clear if we study the text in chapter 9 of the Kammatthana Sangaha. Okay, let's see. Datha yathakama patamijana di samapatti samapachitwa uttana kali tathagati sankhara dhammi tathadatewa vipassando. It mentioned. So in this lesson, I want to introduce the reading the text, understanding the text, and by that understanding how to keep the information in the mind, and the method of the study Abhidhamma Sangaha, based on the Abhidhamma Sangaha. Otherwise, you just listen to the explanation, and after listening some more explanation in the class, many information come into your mind and then becomes complicated. In order to identify the correct way of understanding, we need the text, the assistance of the text to hold. So let's read the translation about the text. Translation of the text. Okay, Tattva refers to, in this case, this is also another expression, but the same topic of the attainment of succession, on the attainment of succession. So here start from the beginning again. So one enters successively upon the sublime attainments, beginning with the first jhana. So yathakama refers to the successively. The successively, he need to enter successively upon the sublime attainment, beginning with the first jhana. So pathamit jhana, dit samapatti, dit here include etc. So pathamit jhana, the first jhana, etc. The attainment of the first jhana, etc. And so it continues to the complete attainment of the jhana, all jhana attainment. You need to enter successively, one after another. So the first jhana, beginning with the first jhana, and then after emerging from them, so entering to the first jhana, and he emerged from the first jhana. Then he entered to the second jhana, emerged from the second jhana, and entered to the third jhana, etc. It continues to the last types of the jhana in the highest position. And before he continued to the next attainment of the jhana, he need to contemplate. So with the intention to enter to the attainment of the succession, Nirodha Samapatti, he need to do that in the systematic way. So firstly, he need to enter to the first jhana. After emerging from the first jhana, before continue to the second jhana, he need to contemplate the conditional states within each of those attainments. So he need to contemplate the conditional states. States mean the factors of the jhana, mentalities, all the mentality, including that conditional state. He need to contemplate on this conditional state by insight knowledge. As you know, the insight knowledge emphasizes on the characteristic. So he need to contemplate all the conditional state at the time of the first jhana. After emerging from the first jhana, he contemplate the conditional phenomena at the time of first jhana. And as the impermanence, suffering, non-self, by the insight knowledge. After that contemplation, he continued to the second jhana to enter. Then he emerged from the second jhana. After that, he contemplates the conditioned state during the time of second jhana as impermanent, suffering, non-self. In this way, he entered the jhana one after another in the successive way up to the highest jhana. Okay, before he came here, Yawa Akinchinya Yarana Kantwa. So Yawa Akinchinya Yarana Kantwa. Here, Akinchinya Yarana refers to the third immaterial jhana. So he entered to the jhana from the beginning with the first jhana to up to the base of nothingness, which is the third immaterial jhana, the second highest. So he entered to the base of nothingness. Tato para aditya dikam pobakichan pobakichan katwa is not only contemplation on the conditional state of the base of nothingness. He needs more performance. It is aditya dikam pobakichan katwa. Here he needs to attend to the preliminary duties such as the resolution, etc. So there are specific resolution we will explain in the next slide. Here, the specific resolution, then he needs to make the resolution. After that, this is the extra performance. Now, extra performance, then the contemplation on the conditional states by the insight knowledge. After that, he needs to make the resolution. Then he continued to enter the highest jhana of the base of neither perception nor non-perception, which is called the Niwa Sanya Nasanya Yarana, which that is the highest jhana. So let's review as the text of the chapter 9 explained. Those who have intention to enter to the attainment of succession must enter successively from beginning from the first jhana up to the nothingness or the second highest jhana. In each jhana, he needs to contemplate the conditional states within this attainment by the insight knowledge. After contemplation, the conditional state in the third immaterial jhana, which is the base of nothingness, he needs to perform the extra performance of the resolution, etc., the preliminary duty of the succession. After that, when it is complete and he continues to enter the base of neither perception or non-perception. This is how Abhidhamma Sangha has explained. Based on these two explanations, we can identify the performance. Then, okay, it continues. The text of the 9th chapter continue. After entering to the Nivasanya Nasanya Yarana, so how happened? Tasa Dvina Apana Chwanana Prado, Hochechati Chitta Santati. So Dvina refers to the two occasions of the Apana Chawana, so Chawana in absorption. So this two occasions of Chawana in absorption refers to the Nivasanya Nasanya Yarana Chawana. So when he enters with the intention, with the resolution to enter to the attainment of succession, it does not continue many times. It arises only 2 times. After that, the continuum of consciousness is suspended, so it stops. according to the resolution, it stopped. The consciousness and mental factor and also mind-bone matter completely stopped after two occasions of the fourth immaterial sphere jhana. It is also similar to the explanation in the chapter 4. Then tato nirodha samapano nama hodi. Then one is said to have attained succession. He entered to the succession, attainment or succession, nirodha. During the time of nirodha, what happened? So let's think about during the time of succession. We understand the continuum of consciousness suspended. Okay, that is called the nirodha. Then nirodha, at the time, at the specific time period, there's no consciousness and also no mental factors and no mind-bone matter. They only remain the materiality of the karma bone. So karma bone matter and nutriment bone matter and the temperature bone matter. The aggregate of materiality remain there at that specific moment of succession. Okay, after that, after a specific period of time, Pannadhikalankara, the text continue to explain about the emergence. So Pannadhikalankara, at the time of emergence from succession, anagami no anagami phalan. So anagami no anagami phalan. It refers to, in the case of non-returner, anagami phalan, the fruition of non-returning consciousness. Then arahato arahata phalan. So in the case of arahat, the fruit of arahatship consciousness arise. Then there is subsidence into the life continuum after at the end of the attainment or succession, the consciousness of non-returning or the consciousness of arahatship arise only one time. After that, the bhavanga. This is how the text explained about the nirodha samapatti before entering to the nirodha and after the nirodha moment. Then tatopara pachawakana jnana pavatati. So that arise the pachawakana jnana, reviewing knowledge. This is also one of the sense sphere jhana process. Okay, about the pachawakana viti, pachawakana types of the pachawakana, what they take what types of consciousness or what types of object we were discussed in the chapter 9, completely discussed in the chapter 9. So before we study the process, let's continue about the conclusion. First of all, the nirodha samapatti refers to the meditated attainment. The meditated attainment, without the meditation, and nobody can attain that condition, that's that time period of succession. That's why we can regard it that is a meditative attainment. There, in which the stream of consciousness and it is concomitance, the consciousness and mental factor is temporarily arrested. So, as I mentioned, that the state of the nirodha at the time of the nirodha samapatti. So the consciousness and associated mental factors, and also here it does not mention about the materiality. If we classify materiality according to their origination, only 4 types: the karma born matter, mind born matter, temperature born matter, and nutriment born matter. So there, among the 4 types, the mind-born materiality also arrested there because there's no consciousness and mental factor, mentality. That is why mind-born materiality also arrested there. So at that time, the remaining thing is the body of that person, the meditator, noble person of the non-returner of the Arhat. The remaining is only three types of matriarchy, the group of matriarchy. That is the state of Nirodha Samapatti. The individual who can enter to the attainment of succession, let's see, which type of individual. The non-returner and Arhat who have mastery over all five material and immaterial jhana. So because he needs to enter in successively from beginning with the first jhana to the fourth immaterial jhana. So the person must already have mastery all the 8 attainments, which is called the Attainment, 8 attainment. So if we count the 5 material sphere as 4 according to the Sutta explanation, and there is 5 material sphere jhana and 4 immaterial sphere jhana. Altogether, they are called the Attainment, the 8 attainments. So, and also that person must be any of non-returners or arahats. Arahat with the 8 attainments. And also they must be the beings in the sense sphere realms or 5 material plane of existence. Here, the slide I share, I dropped the here 5 material sphere plane. So we need to add it. And in both plane of existence of 5 material sense sphere and 5 material sphere, the non-returner and arahat who attain the Attainment, 8 attainment, can enter to the attainment of succession if they wish. If they wish. If the Nirodha Samapatti, the process of Nirodha Samapatti cannot be obtained in the immaterial plane of existence, because there is no attaining of the 5 material jhana. In the immaterial plane of existence, there is no 5 material sphere jhana. It's not going down to the lower jhana. That's why in the immaterial plane, it is impossible to enter to the Nirodha Samapatti, because without the entrance into the attainment, 8 attainments successively, the Nirodha Samapatti cannot be possible. That is why, by the absence of the 5 material sphere jhana, Nirodha Samapatti process cannot happen in the immaterial plane. We can make sure about that. That is why only 2 types of sense sphere and 5 material sphere. And because the 5 material sphere jhana are the prerequisite of the entering the succession. If absent, so if a person does not attain to the jhana, also cannot be possible to enter to the succession, although he is a non-returners or arahat. Then, okay, why these individuals wish to enter to the attainment of succession, Nirodha Samapatti? What is the reason? So according to the nature, it is mentioned that the Baro Hawi Panchakanda. Baro Hawi Panchakanda. Hawi indeed. Hawi is indeed. The Baro is heavy and tires. Panchakanda. So dealing with the aggregates is indeed heavy and tires. We always deal with, that's why sometimes we forget the burden of the aggregate is heavy and tires. We forget by the influence of the ignorance and the attachment, we forget about the heaviness and tiredness of the aggregate. But for the non-returner and arahat, they understand how heavy and how tired. Then, at the time of the Nirodha Samapatti, there's no mentalities and the mind-born matter. At that time, they can partially get the rest from the heaviness and tiredness in relation to the aggregate. Only the remaining 3 types of materiality. So at that time, they get the escape from the heaviness and tiredness with the intention to experience the Data Dhamma Nibbana. At the time, the cease of the succession during the lifetime. They trying to enter to the Nirodha Samapatti. So the example of entering to the Nirodha Samapatti, many times the Buddha and the Venerable Mahakassapa, they did in their life. In the Sutta explanation, you can see many times of the Venerable Mahakassapa is entering to the succession. After that, it is the nature is that if someone offer at the moment when the Naritana or Arahat emerge from the Nirodha Samapatti by the satta, very strong satta. So that is very beneficial, very grateful. So many cases it appears, and the Venerable Mahakassapa are trying to taking care of the poor person. Then he entered to the attainment or succession. After that, after emerging from that, he goes for alms round. Okay, this is the attainment of the succession as mentioned in the text, and we can include, we can conclude in this way. After that, the procedure, let's make sure the procedure of the attainment or succession. The firstly, enter each jhana in the proper sequence. So from the first jhana to the 4th immaterial jhana, it continues. And then after emerging from each one, the meditator need to contemplate, cannot continue directly to the next attainment. So contemplate, it is further with insight as impermanent, suffering, non-soul on the conditional phenomena. Then after reaching to the base of nothingness, emerge from it, and the more performance of the preparatory text, including the resolution and the attainment. Then enter again to the 4th arupa jhana, which is non-perception, neither perception nor non-perception. Arise and cease for 2 times, two times. After that, the stream of consciousness cut off. This is the state of Nirodha. Then duration of the attainment is according to the meditator is pure determination. So here, make the resolution. Their pure determination determine the duration of the attainment. How long? 1 hour, 2 hours, up to the 7 days. Up to the 7 days. Then let's continue about the process. So after emerging from the 3rd immaterial jhana, which is the base of nothingness, then contemplate on that. After that, he entered to the 4th jhana process. So here, as usual, the 4th jhana, but the 4th jhana just before the Nirodha only 2 times. Then continue, enter to the Nirodha, cut off all mentalities and the mind-born matter cut off during that time. Then when it emerged, when the meditator emerged from the Nirodha, the fruition, okay, this is the consciousness, types of the consciousness during this period of time. The Bhavanga are 9, as usual, 9, because by the absent in the the immaterial plane of existence, only the 9 with the knowledge. Then, so the neighborhood concentration in the slide I share is it dropped the equanimity, so it make a mistake. Right here already credit. The wholesome chitta accompanied by equanimity associated with knowledge too, because here the jhanas are immaterial jhana. All the immaterial jhanas are equanimity, accompanied by equanimity. That is why the neighborhood concentration also must be identified with the accompanying feeling equanimity. Then the jhana, wholesome or functional. Wholesome or functional, the wholesome related to the non-returner person. The functional related to the arahat, the immaterial full jhana. Then about the fruition, the nirodha, in the nirodha, we don't need to identify by the consciousness. Then the fruition, anagami phala, for the non-returner. And arhata phala for the arhat. So this is what we need to understand about the process of nirodha samapatti. For the second stage, it is a little bit wider, as a larger explanation. But if we study in this place, that shorten our study in chapter 9. That is why I make all the explanation in one place. Then the 4 resolution, after emergence from the third immaterial jhana of the base of nothingness, he needs to make the resolution. So here, the 4 resolution is mentioned. The requisites cannot be destroyed, so belong to him. Cannot be destroyed during the attainment. So when the non-returner or arahat person during the time of nirodha samapatti, nobody can destroy his requisites, the bowl, robe, etc., and also including the monastery or the tree where he lived. Every requisite cannot be destroyed by the others during the attainment. This is one of the resolution. And that's why they are automatically protected by the attainment, the power of attainment. It is a nature, not the work of the Deva or Brahma, someone else. And the second resolution is he make the determination to emerge if his service are needed by the Sangha. So although he make determination to enter to the 7th day, but due to the condition, something arise in the Sangha. The Sangha expect for his service to solve that problem or to perform that task, especially with the special intention. If the Sangha expect for that, he make determination that make me to emerge, automatically emerge from the nirodha. Then he need to make this kind of resolution also. Then the third resolution is if the Buddha summoned, so sometime the believers Mahakassapa enter into the nirodha samapatti. At that time, if the Buddha summoned to the believer Mahakassapa, Kassapa come here in this way. So by that addressing of the Buddha, it caused to wake up due to this resolution. It caused to emerge from the nirodha. So this related only during the time of the Buddha. So this time, it is not necessary to make this kind of resolution. Then the last one, he made bounds not to die within 7 days, not to die within 7 days. If very close, his lifespan is not complete 70, he cannot enter to the Nirodha Samapatti. It means. So in this way, 4 resolutions are mentioned, but not every, I think not every meditator or every noble person entering to the Nirodha Samapatti make all complete resolution, because the story of the Third Buddhist Council about the master of the Maugali Buddha Pisa, it is said that he could not aware about the expectation of the Sangha when he is entering to the Samapatti. So it seems there some resolution can be absent, can be skipped, before entering to the Nirodha Samapatti for some people, for some individual. Okay, then so after making the 4 resolution, so when it to make sure when the resolution are made, are done, so enter the 4 jhana. It means that before entering to the 4 immaterial jhana, after the 3rd immaterial jhana, there's between these 2 process, he makes this resolution. Then enter to the 4 jhana, which are followed by the Nirodha, followed by the statement of the Nirodha. So after that, he attained cessation. Then they continue in this way. And temporarily suspended. After that, the fruition consciousness arises, and then the bhavanga continue. So this is the way how the Nirodha Samapatti Viti arise, and what are the preliminary condition or the formal process related to the Nirodha Samapatti. Okay, I'm going to stop here and let's continue to the Q&A session. Sadhu, sadhu.
Madami Bante, what does this knowledge of the destruction of the taints, asawa kayanyana, arise? Does one need to practice 14 ways, like other types of psychic power, for this knowledge to arise? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, and this knowledge is the same as the Arahata Magga, the attainment of the past knowledge of Arahat. So when we study about the supramundane consciousness, there are 4 Magga and 4 Phala. So 4 Magga, the last one is Arahata Magga, the highest Magga. So in order to attain the Asavakya Jnana, he needs, the meditator needs to practice the Vipassana. It does not relate it to the Samatha practice. Whether the meditator practice the Samatha or not, it doesn't matter. If he can attain the Magga from the Sotapaddi Magga, Sakaragami Magga, Anagami Magga up to the Arhata Magga. During the moment of Arhata Magga, the knowledge, the knowledge associated with that path consciousness of Arhatship is called the Asavakya Jnana. This is not any of the supernormal power of any psychic powers. It is the Vipassana, the power of the Vipassana practice to cutting off all the taints. All the taints is the Asavakya. So after the attainment of the Asavakya Jnana, he is regarded as the Arahat person. Arahat person. He will not reborn. He will not be reborn in any plane of existence for next life. He will enter to the Nibbana, the ultimate reality of Nibbana. This is about the Asavakya Jnana.
Pandami Sayadaw, for a person who has not practiced samatha up to 8 attainments, how can he enter into Nirodha Samapatti? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, for those who does not practice the samatha meditation up to the attainment of the 8th attainment, he cannot it is impossible to enter to the Nirodha. There's no way. That's why whoever wish to enter to the Nirodha Samapatti must practice the concentration meditation up to the attainment of all 8 kinds of jhana, all jhana. Okay.
Dear Bhante, how does one touch the moon and sun practically using psychic power? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
This is very difficult to say evident with the evidence because I don't see anybody who is touching the moon and sun. But the text mentioned about the power of the meditator who already practiced his mind up to the level of the attainment, and by the power of direct knowledge of Adivida, he could do if he wished. It means if we don't know who did it in the history or in the past. Maybe the Benevolent Mahamoggallana, etc. Those types of passing can do, but I don't know how they do and when they did about that, and there's no record on that. Okay.
Dear Bhante, on lesson 33, slide 8, the Mano Viti mentioned 51 SS How to derive these 51? I can manage to get 41, namely Mano Divara Vajana, 29 SSJ, 11 Tadaramana, 41 Chitta. Is this correct?
Okay, I need to check it again. Yes, that is right. That is right. And three types cannot arise in the Manodhara. They are the Manodhatu. They are called the Manodhatu, which is the, if we say, two receiving consciousness, and 5 dot abundant. 3 consciousness of Manodhatu, mind element consciousness, cannot arise in the mind dot process. That is why among the 54 sense sphere consciousness, the 51 can arise. And if we classify the 51 according to the function that they perform, and as you said, the Manodhara Vajana 1 and sense sphere Jhana 29 and Dharamana 11. Okay, that's correct.
Dear Bhante, if one person has no mind reading psychic power, are there other ways for one to show other people's mind?
Yes, of course. Sometimes some people, they practice the other magical power not related to the meditation practice. They also can read the mind. And also some deva, they can know according to the knowledge related to their karma. So karma produce automatically. They understand. They can know other people's mind. And also some people, they cannot know directly, and then they can know from the deva, and the devas say. And this is the other way to know other people's mind. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, when a person attains the divine eyes, what kind of instrument do they use for seeing other realms or beings? Do they use their real eyes, Chakupasada, or their mind, or both of them?
Actually, using the divine eye, it does not relate it to the physical eye. That's why he does not need to use the physical eye. Just use only the mind's work. Because as you know, the process just run in the mind, not related to the eye sensitivity. That's why even the blind person, who does not have the eye sensitivity, he can develop up to the level of the direct knowledge of divine eye, and he can see by the mind. Okay.
Bhante, this question refers to lesson 33, slide 8.
Okay. So, there's 10 states and in 3 moods. Okay, 3 moods refers to the mind.avatin. It is one function. That is why one mood. And Javana is another mood. And Dhararamana registration is another mood. That is why that 3 moods. In 3 moods, if we count this, the mind.avatin is only 1 times. And Javana is 7. Javana are 7 times. That is why 8. We can get 8 times, 8 states. Then and 2 more state of registration. With the 2 more state of registration, there are 10 states of consciousness in 3 moods. Okay.
Dear Bhante, in the Buddhist text, we always read about Buddha's disciples attained arahanthood with 6 psychic power. Do these psychic power arise by themselves, or the disciples actually practice them during that time? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Some already fulfill the perfection. That perfection refers to in the previous existence. Many times they practice the concentration meditation after the attainments, and by the support of these practice already done, but not during the time of the Buddha in that lives. They practice many previous existence. Then by the support of that, when they are awakened by the teaching, listening to the Buddha's Dhamma teaching, then focusing on that, and then they develop the inside knowledge in their mind. Then at the attainment of arahantship, and by the power of arahantship, and they attained the 6 psychic power together. It is the text sex is they don't need to practice separately them. By the support of the previous practice, previous training, and the power of arahantship coming together at that moment. Maybe there's some moment later of that, the psychic power come into their minds. So they have ability to perform the different texts of the psychic power. They are called the chala binya, like this. And some monks, they need to practice separately after the attainment of arahantship. Only some moment takes, then they attain. And for some, they need more period of time to develop the psychic power according to their previous existence, the support of previous existence, which is regarded as the paramita. Okay.
Okay. Vandami Bante, I'm Kulegin from Malaysia. Okay, according to today's Bante slides on the process of direct knowledge,
Okay.
The 2B, Bhavanga Chalana, then followed by Bhavanga Upacheda, then comes to the process V, and after that A. Can Bante explain what is the V process here? Chitta, and the A. That two represents what type of chitta?
V and A.
And A, yes.
Yeah.
The one in green.
Yeah, that is vibrational Bhavanga is V.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
And A is arrest. Yeah, arrest.
Okay. Oh, that means I thought I mistaken for the pure mind moment, then that doesn't need vibration and arrested Bhavanga. This one needs that too.
Need every moment.
Okay.
Only the past Bhavanga.
Pure. Yeah. Okay. Sadhu Bante.
Let's make aspiration and let's share our marriage today we accumulate during the time of Abhidhamma study. Okay, please repeat after me. Imina punya kamena
Imina punya kamena
mami bala samagamo
mame bala samagamo
Adam samagamo hodu
satam samagama hotu
Yawa nibbana badiya
yawa nibbana patiya
Idami punyam
idame punyam
Asawakaya vahang hodu
asawakaya waham hotu
Idami punyam
idame punyam
Nibbana sapachayo hodu
nibbana sapachayo hotu
Mama punya bhagam
mama punya bagam
Sabha satanam bhajimi
sabha satanam bhajemi
Esabe
te sabe
me samam
me samam
Punya bhagam labantu
punya bagam labantu
Sadhu
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 sadhu